which they're working on putting up. If not, I have printed the slides, so I could also do that. But just to say that I'm happy to be here and happy to see this summit being realized. I think it's a great initiative. I think that, I've followed during the last couple of days, actually months, what's going on in this field, of Black entrepreneurship, and it's definitely a growing trend outside of Denmark. So it's in the UK and the US, it's booming. You see a lot of hashtags, Black excellence, Black businesses. People are talking about having Black businesses being run by Black people, with Black employees, with Black investors, and it sounds a bit far out, but it's also, because in the US, it really, when they do things, they really go to the extreme with it. So then it has to be Black products, it has to be in the Black neighborhood, it has to be all of that. But I think overall, it's positive. It's positive because I also see the need for something targeted to a specific group of people. And when I, through my work, meet people, I mostly meet not Black people. I mostly meet people from all the other places. I'll tell you what I work and why I work in a second. But it's like it's like this group of people. Black people are lacking in the sense of being role models, being people that have a success with their businesses. And I think there are different reasons for that. I think because Denmark is oh, the presentation is on, so I don't have to talk too much. But I'll just continue that Denmark is a place where compared to the UK, it's pretty new. You don't have such a big community. You don't have so many people from the Black diaspora that are here. So there's also this specific thing about Denmark that does that. You don't maybe see, like, my colleagues ask me, so you're going to a Black Entrepreneurship Summit, am I welcome? And it's only for Black people. And I said, of course you're welcome, and then they're like, but why do you call it Black? If it was something, white people said white summit, then you'd say it's racist. And I told them, look, it's not because we want to be excluding other people, but how many people do you know that are Black that have a successful business? And then they were like, oh, we don't know any. And that's the thing, right? Then it shows that there's a need for doing something for this this group of people, as you would do something for female entrepreneurs, for example. So thank you. So with that being said, I'm going to start with the presentation. All right, so about me, I'm born in Canada, grew up in Ivory Coast and Denmark. I've been here for 25 years, so that's a lot of time. I guess I've been here more than most of you people here. And in the start, I didn't think it would be that long, but that's just how it is. And then I studied at CBS. I work as a business advisor at the Business House Copenhagen, and I've been active in the community, trying to give back with an event called Celebrate Africa. I don't know if you heard about it. Maybe some of you have heard about it. But it's basically been kind of like the same as this one, trying to highlight, good initiatives, good people that could be inspiring in the Black community in Denmark. My current projects are Africa Plus, where we want to send financing to African startups, because also in that field there's a lot of things happening. So I'm in that project with some other guys, and we're really like struggling to get it's easy to get the startups in Africa, but to get the funds here and channel it over there. So that's just about me. So I work, as I said, I work in the Business House Copenhagen, and it's a part of the municipality of Copenhagen. And I work in the department that helps with entrepreneurship. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, I have a lot of experience with the whole process doing that. So how do you go about that? Of course, you need to start with an idea, right? You need to have, something that you're passionate about, that you want to do, and that you think there's a need in the market. So the first step is to get an idea or several ideas, because it's not going to be that one idea that's going to work. Then you have to develop the idea. One step in that process is also to, once you start going from the idea to a business, to register the business, run the business, and grow the business. And I would like to ask, how many people here would like to start a business at some point? How many people have currently a business? Okay, and how many people are trying to grow? Okay, so it's like
you all want to grow.
You all want to grow. Okay, so like 30% at the growth phase. Okay, and this is something where I work that we can help you on all those different stages. But it's also for me to know, okay, in my presentation, how should I go about it? So this is why I work. These are my colleagues, and most of them male, most of them white, and I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I know in Denmark, this is how it is. I also know that the department where I'm at, it's traditionally they've employed, they've gone after that profile, but they could do more on the diversity agenda. They could have more female, they could have more people with a different background, and I think that would bring something else. But we all have different area of expertise. Some are more into restoration, some are into more creative businesses, some are more into export import, some are more into leadership, motivation. And I think that if you've met, you've been to that department and had a talk with me, I'm not going to say, hey, only talk to me because, hey, I'm your black brother, just talk to me. I'm focused on having your business grow. So if it makes sense for you to talk to a colleague which is in the creative industry or another one which is working with restoration, then I would suggest that you do that as well, and you're welcome to do that. So we're part of the municipality, and our services are for free, and we're based in Copenhagen. And this is something a lot of people do not know about, because we're not out there, marketing everywhere saying, hey, come to us and stuff like that. Because it's a municipality, so we get our pay no matter what. But go ahead and check it out. If you know some people that could use this, tell them about this. We have a lot of services. We have free business startup courses. We have one-to-one counseling. We have specific programs also. If you need a mentor or you're more into having an advisory board or whatever, we have those different programs, and they are for free. So it makes sense because as a startup, you're also limited financing wise. You don't have a lot of finances and stuff. But this is a service that you can use if you live in Copenhagen. So you have to live in Copenhagen. And then we have something in English as well. And you can see all of our services on our website. So next slide. Things to think about when you start out, and I think also for those who currently have a business, you can make kind of a status, try to see where you're at right now on those different points. So competences. Do you have the right competences to start out the business? Are you well suited enough to go and go in the market and say, this is what I want to do? If it's restoration, do you have experience, cooking, standing in a restaurant, actually doing the work that is required? If not, because there are some people who have started out in branches where they don't have experience and still succeeded. So it's just to give you the best chances to succeed. If you don't have these competences, what can you do about it? Can you get with someone that has these competences? Can you get with? Can you get to learn those competences? Can you get to talk to someone that has been in the branch for some years and that can help you there? So, for those that are starting, but also for those that have a business right now, how is it with your competence relating to what you're doing? Could you also, make more so you would be better in what you're doing? Then you have competitors, and this is more like analyzing how many competitors are in the market. And since there's always new companies coming in, maybe you checked last year and you didn't have any, or you only had 3 competitors, but this year there's 4 or 5. So you also want to see how are you different from them. What can you offer that they cannot offer? What is it that they do that is good? And maybe you can copy that. If they're doing something good, you see that with a lot of big companies. One company goes out, they make something. The coming years you have competitors doing the same because this is something that is good, that's working. Of course, there are issues with patents and stuff like that. But in the entrepreneurship field, it's not that important. But of course, you have to watch out for that. Market, how big is the market? Sometimes you want to start in a market where if you do something, for example, for Ivorian people here, there's not so many of them. From Ivory Coast, where I'm from. Then you have the Ivorian communities, which is a bit bigger. So you have the descendant and stuff, which is a bit bigger. But like I said, Denmark is a country where the African community is not big. So you have to start out with something where you can reach a lot of people, and you have to think about that when you start. How can you reach also Danish people? How can you get Danish people to buy what you're selling? This can be a bit obvious if you're operating already with your company, but still, this is something that can make you think of new ways to do things. Then you have customers. The more you know your customers, the better. The more you know who they are, what they do, where they are from, how much money they have, etc., the better you can target something for your customers, and the better they will be willing to pay for your services. So these are some of the points I think you should think about whether you're starting out or actually have something and want to grow your business. So what are some of the stats? Because I work in the field, I also know some of the statistics regarding being an entrepreneur, and it's difficult to be an entrepreneur. You have to be what's it called? You have to be honest about it. It's difficult to succeed with this. You said it. You had different ventures, and you couldn't really feel that you were having a success. So 30% fell after 3 years, 50% after 5 years. But still 20,000 coming every year, right? And this is this is what you have to know before you start out. Actually, you have to think about, so if like 100 person or 90 different entrepreneurs start out, then you have 30% of them that will fail. So how do you give your chance? How do you give yourself the best chances to succeed with this? This is what you have to think about from the start, because Copenhagen is getting bigger and bigger, and there are more people coming to Copenhagen. I also see more people that want to start out their businesses, which means more competitors for you, and that basically means that you have to be able to give something all the time to your customers that is relevant in order to be in the market. Compared to Danes, ethnic or black people or ethnic people, international people, how you want to call them, are more inclined to start a business. And I think it's related to what you said also earlier, that it's kind of like an alternative to having a job. When it doesn't go well on this side, you think, okay, let me start out, let me do something of myself, because you have to do something also. You have to get some income, but also in some fields it's not that difficult. But if it's not that difficult, then it also means that you have more people also starting the same business as you. So international people, ethnic people, or black people start out more frequently than Danes, but statistics-wise, they have a lower income than Danish people. And I think we have to see it. We have to see it as a challenge that we have to lift up. We have to think of ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to go out there and get enough revenue to run this business. I'm going to make it a success. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be complicated, but I'm going to really go out there and give myself 100% in order to make it a success. Whether I have to learn from better people, whether I have to get a bigger network, whether I have to be creative about ways of doing it. But it's just, for me, it's like being the underdog. And I normally go for supporting underdogs. That's why when I saw the Avenger movie, I was supporting the bad guys, because I was like, wait a minute, the good guys are always winning. You know what I mean? So I mean, we have to go there and see it as a challenge that we want to lift. Because if you look at the UK, you look at the US, there are some good, successful black businesses. So why can't we have it here in Denmark? There shouldn't be. I mean, I know the community is not big and stuff like that, but there shouldn't be an obvious reason for not having successful black business here. Yeah. So my slides are done, but the next one was about good advice that I could give to people. Something related to the statistics. If you start with someone, you have a higher chance of succeeding. So try to see whether you can start your business with a partner or whatever, or you can partner with someone else. Another advice is that you should start small but think big, because you're using your time on this. If you do something big, you might use a bit more time, but then you also have a higher rate of success. If it becomes something, it will become something big instead of something small. Seek help, seek advice. The people I know that are successful are people that have been, really out there looking for, sometimes contacting me several times, and I'm like, but your business is already running. Why are you coming back and always asking questions? But they are hungry for this, so they are always inquiring about new stuff, new projects that we have, maybe new funds. Just getting there and looking after something they can use in their business. Listening to customers, because the customers are the ones that pay at the end. So you have to basically have something that is relevant for them. Yeah. Something I really want to talk about is the trends, the current trends in entrepreneurship. This is also something you need to be aware of. So you might be operating in one area, maybe you're a hairdresser, or you have a restaurant, or you have a consultancy business, but there are bigger trends that might influence you. So you want to know, okay, what are those trends? What are they about? Is it something I can use in my business? Is it something that makes sense? How is it going to affect me in the next year, the next 2 years, or the next 5 years? So something about AI, robotics, automation, drones. I know it sounds a bit far related to business, but how is it how can you use some of those stuff? Sustainability, SDGs, circular economy, climate. These are all buzzwords out there where there's where there's a big market, and where there are in the future is going to be a lot of companies operating. So you want to try to see how you can use some of those trends and ride on that wave. Also, I think female entrepreneurship is going to be more and more talked about. You have a question?
Well, it's just because the slides are back, and yeah, I can follow you very easily when I am looking at the slides.
Okay, let me go back. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. So, so female entrepreneurship is I think going to be more and more talked about, and to all the female entrepreneurs here, I think you also have to see this as something good, and you have to kind of like create the network, create the group, create events for you guys, especially female black entrepreneurs. You know, there's not so many of them, so make something, and also there could be some funding there for this type of group, because more and more are being aware that compared to men, this is not a growing group. Maybe out of global total number of entrepreneurs, 60% are males and 30% are females, and this has been, you know, not growing over the past 5 years. Africa is also a key area. I think it's getting more and more popular among people. It's getting more popular among the entrepreneurs here. And so if you have a product related to Africa somehow, it can also be an advantage. I'm a bit, yeah, a bit lost there. So one thing I also want to say, coming to this summit, I researched, okay, black entrepreneurs, you know, let me research. I know in the US, you have a lot of them, and in the US, normally you talk about, you know, when you say black entrepreneurs, it's successful, you see the Oprahs, you see the Jay-Z's, you see the Beyoncé's, you know, we all know those guys, right? And they are like role models for some of us. But I wanted to look at something more closer to us, or something more like in Europe and in other fields than the usual ones. So I found some very interesting entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs, and I think they should be like a source of inspiration, role models, whatever to you guys that are entrepreneurs. I found some in the field of robotics. I also found some, you know, so this is something, sorry, if you go back. Yeah. So this is something done by a Nigerian, originally from Nigeria, an entrepreneur. And he's the one behind those weird type of like spider machines that are also connected to augmented reality and stuff. And this looks like something you would think maybe Steve Jobs would be behind. But this is a guy from Nigeria and his team. Then you have also this company here, and this is also because I like food, so I thought what they were doing was great. But you know, I think honestly there's like some potential in restoration for in the black community, and for, you know, doing something which is of a higher level than what we usually have. And these guys, they seem to have kind of like cracked the code. So they have like a tapas, Nigerian-inspired African restaurant. And next time I go to London, I'm going to go and test that, because that looks very good. Then you have in the field of event making, music. This is not just one event. This is a company that actually has a portal, like a whole portal of different African-inspired events. And again, this is something I don't know if I hadn't researched about it. So you have to do the research and see whether in your field there's someone, maybe not in Denmark, you said you were lacking role models, maybe not in Denmark, then in the UK. If not in the UK, then in the US, you know, can you inspire yourself from them? Can you use some of the techniques? Can you just to get, can you make your company better from what they're doing? In the field of agriculture, which is a big field in Africa, this guy here from Sweden actually has done this startup where you can buy cattle, you can buy land plots, you can buy, and this is something that again I didn't know about, but I think it's all inspiring, and and we should go after also supporting those type of businesses, right? Because if we don't support ourselves, then it's a bit difficult to ask for other people to support us. So yeah, and the last example was this lady here who did, and I think these are all fields that in the Black community we recognize. So she has this cosmetic hair care company, and it's not just your regular hair care. It's more like up in the high-end, luxurious field. And again, I think this is something that we can inspire ourselves from and have as role models. So I think there are some people out there doing it. There are some people out there that have success with it. Even though here in Denmark, maybe there are not so many people that have success, we can be the next guy. I mean, we can be the next group. We can be the wave that is coming in and can inspire other people. So that's what we have to think about with our businesses. And I think there is definitely an advantage with us, with our background being different, coming from somewhere else, having been exposed to different food, different culture, etc., different ways of doing things. We can use that to make something here that is attracting to people. So I think the future is black. I think we have a big task to do in front of us. And I would just like to finish this. I don't know if I took too much time. If I did, I'm sorry. But this is the last picture I have, and this is my contact. You can contact me if you want to hear anything. What is it? What offers we have? But also if you have an idea that you want to discuss, if you have a business, if you know someone that has a business, you're welcome to get in touch with me, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you.
Learned so much from that, I'm sure. Questions. Okay.
Is it for everybody who have a business and want to get some ideas, networking?
Yeah, so it's for everyone, and especially if you live in Copenhagen area. But if you don't live in Copenhagen, I'm open, to personally to meet up with you and talk and discuss about your idea and seeing what is it out there that can help you. Yeah.
It's more relevant to Jason. Are these slides going to be made publicly available after the fact? Because unfortunately, we can't see the whole screen; it's obscured.
Okay. Would it be possible to?
Yeah, I'll share my slides. I mean, no worries. Yeah, but then the other ones as well I hope will be shared. Yes.
Can we ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sitting here now. Sorry.
So
Yeah.
The question is about those 20,000 that startups that are created every year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 20,000 in Copenhagen or 20,000 in Denmark?
It's 20,000 in Denmark overall. So it's about maybe 8,000 in Copenhagen or something like that.
That was the first question. The second question, it's about the failure. Do you actually have an idea of what can actually lead to failure in a startup?
Yeah, so there's a US analysis about failure and why startups are failing. And the major reason for that was a lack of market. That the entrepreneurs created something that for which there wasn't a need in the market. So that was the number one failure. Then there was also something about financing and having the right competences in the team. But market need was definitely one of the higher reason for that. So it's relevant to see, okay, if when I'm coming out with a product or service or whatever, is there actually a need in the market which I'm fulfilling, or is it because I think there's a need, or is it because I think this is a problem, or is it because this is my passion? So you have to see, is there a need? How many people have this need in the market, and can I actually build a business out of this which can be sustainable? Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
I'd like to ask if
Jakelin?
you can, if you help with stuff like funding, if you have an existing business and you would like to grow it, if you can fund, and what type of funding you can get. Is it more for like traditional? Is it possible for more traditional ideas, or do you need to have a very different idea to be able to get funding?
Yeah, and I think it's relevant to ask for funding, especially when you're an entrepreneur. The thing is, funding comes with requirements, and funding is limited to certain types of businesses. So whatever funding there is, if it's, anyone giving you money has some terms, except if it's like your maybe family and friends, but even they have, okay, hey, are you going to give me my money back, So they might not ask for an interest, but, they want to get it back. So in some fields, like IT fields, if you have an IT product, then the funding is like, you can say abundant, not really, but there are more funding over there. In some other fields, like if you have a restaurant or consultancy business, because the business is so depending on you personally, and because you don't have any like asset security, to give them if this doesn't work out, then the funding is limited. So that's what and I think starting out, you have to depend on yourself. There could be some funding there. Always, try to figure out if there is, but you have to rely on yourself and your network, etc. And I think we as a community we're good at doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and when it comes to consulting, where you work, at what stage in your business do you think is the best time? Of course, you talked about starting right at the point where you have an idea. Maybe you could someone can come up to you, but then sometimes that's probably not the best time because you have something that's so obscure. So maybe you can discuss a little bit more about whether you need to have some sort of a proof of concept before you reach out to you, or
yeah, I think actually we're very early, so I mean I wouldn't say there's like I wouldn't say there's a best time in your business life. We go at the early stage, so we take people that from the idea to the registration to like kind of like the first steps of developing the business. We also take some that are a bit later stage, but you can say our contract is to take those that are at like early stage. Once you grow, you get to grow and you want to kind of like scale up and everything. We can also help you with some of these stuff, but we'll probably send you to other organizations. And if you're not at the right place, they send you back to us. So I'll say like start out with us, whether it's an idea or you're already running or you have something scalable. Talk to us first, and then we'll see, because it's also important to get the ground, the how do you call that?
the foundation.
The foundation of the business like very solid. So definitely start with us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one last question.
One
yeah?
last question.
If not, then yeah, you have my contact. I'll share the slide and
Thank you so much, Nico. Yes.